these usually come in threes. These are large bouquet holders, and I personally use the ones that are dried rather than the wet ones. And I think I've said this to you before, that I find that if this dries out, then it starts doing the opposite of your osmosis. It actually starts taking water from your flowers, right? So you must make sure this is quite wet, yeah? But when I use the dry, I actually dip my ends in glue and actually stick them in, right? And then they don't come out, yeah? So however much the bride shakes down the aisle, yeah? These are very good as well, because they can actually hold them like this, or they can hold them like that if it's like a small bouquet. And the idea is that if they're actually putting it down like that, it holds better. But you know, if it's designed like your 2/3 and your 1/3, then it doesn't hold so much, because quite often, where do brides put their bouquets when they've finished the ceremony? Where do they usually put it in the venue? Which table they usually put it? Cake. Yeah, so they usually put it next to the cake, don't they? So it almost becomes like an arrangement. So that's why some people actually use it like this. Yeah? Right. So use one of these holders, and I found mine slips a little bit. So I've put some hot tape round there as well. So the ruscus is lovely to actually get your points, because it's already given you a nice shape. Right, so the shapes that we want, so profile wise, we want it sort of coming down, and then we want coming over the arm, and then here we want 1/3 and 2/3. So when you start, like any sort of oasis, you're right, Harley?
Yeah. Struggling to find friends.
You must put it right to the end of the frame. And it's going to be 1/3 and 2/3. And it's nice to actually get your shape with your foliage to start with. That in a minute, yeah? So if you can see I've started to sort of get the shape, right? So you want this is going to be your centre, that's where your focal flower is going to be, straight above the handle, and then you've got your 1/3 at the bottom, 2/3 at the bottom, and your 1/3 at the top. So when we've done a line bouquet, haven't we? Yeah? So that's why we do a line bouquet first before this. Now, going to do a line of roses coming down. So you want like your rhythm of your roses coming down. And you want transitions, you want your largest in the middle, yeah, again, coming down to your smallest. So look at your roses and see which is your largest. Perhaps encourage it. And you might want to take the weather petals off. And then support wire it with a 56. Alright, so this is up right in the middle.
Why do you have to support wire it?
It's just because it's like just the roses, yeah?
That's about the third.
Pardon?
That's about the third.
Yes, this would be, that's right in the middle, and that would be my third and my 2/3. And then I'm going to come down. Take the weather petals off. And so support white growing them, because the roses are more like a good drink, don't they? Your smaller roses at the top and the bottom. Right, so with the bottom rows, any of your heavy material, so you've got support wire, and then you've got to do a mounting wire. So perhaps like a 56. And then you're going to go up the frame. And then at the top, you're going to go over the framework. So if you've got really heavy foliage as well, you might want to do this. Alright, so that'll stop it coming out. So I'm looking for my sort of smallest roses for the bottom. I'm taking the petals off, sorry, the leaves off. Because they almost destroy the line, the lovely line that you're creating. Right, so I'm gradually working up the foam as well. Can you see? Here. One sort of in between, so I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Have any of you made shower bouquets before? No? So keto, they're quite a small rose. What other roses could you use? It's a nice sort of rose for wedding work. bigger rose. Bigger rose. Dusty. Avalanche. Yeah. Peonies are not nice to use, aren't they? They're quite trendy at the moment. Do you know what their season is, peonies? Summer, yeah. So it's no good promise them this time of the year because they won't be
You can
very
still get
nice.
them though, can't you?
You can.
Yeah, they're
not
really
particularly
expensive,
nice.
Yeah.
So if you look at the profile there, can you see? And then you've got your line coming down, just as we did with our line of gerbras when we had our line bouquet. Then next, you want to perhaps form your shape with your spray roses. Right? So have a look what you've got. You've got buds, so again buds on the outside. You might want to freshen them up a little bit. Got nice long bits. So we've chosen just green and white because again that's quite popular, isn't it, for weddings? These are your greens because you've got your and also once if you imagine it's quite hard if you've got like a line of like you'd have to use perhaps a dark pink, a light pink. When you start having putting colours, remember we're concentrating on form. You have to start thinking of where you place your colours. Where here whites and greens are perhaps easier for your first bouquet, but very classical, aren't they? So you're doing this as a practice this week, and next week you've got an assessment.
How long do we get to do this?
After the tape's finished, we go through the assessment as we're going. Yeah.
Are we going to make this today, yeah?
Yeah, going to make this today, and it's for next week's assessment. So I've kept some of my larger spray roses so that I can put some centre. So you've almost got to think about a single-ended spray, haven't you? Yeah. But like I'm sure you've come across before, you've only got that small piece of foam, haven't you? Yeah. You see it come into shape, the profile as well. Yeah.
Would you not need to put more foliage in to start with?
I'll just go and do that now. Just as you say. I think you just have to be careful that you don't over foliage it, that you can't put your flowers in. So if you prefer, you can put more to start in, but say look now, I've still got like lots of space that I can put some of the foliage in. So I've got this pretty sort of bitterscorum. And then you've got the different texture of the fern as well. So also when you're taking an order, so in the shop it's almost like Seville really makes a real perfect shape, where I like mine a bit more wild. I would have bits coming out, and you almost have to ask the bride, do you want it, really a perfect sort of shape, or do you want even like a bit of bear grass coming out? It gives it that more country look. Yeah. Just so that you personalise it a bit more for them. how much do you think this would cost? Because I mean, looking at your flower list, the actual cost isn't going to be a great amount, is it? I mean, these are quite expensive. I think we might pay about £10 for the three. So it's talking about £3.50 each. You know, wholesale. So how does anyone know anything about bridal work? How much you would charge?
I think 50, 60 pounds, no?
Yeah.
50, 60 and over.
60 and over?
I'd say a little bit more. I don't know, that might be different prices, but
Yeah. They're all good prices. So you're not just, are you? You're not just thinking about how long it's taken me to make and the cost of the flowers, etc. Are you? You're looking at it and how much I can get for a bouquet. And usually with a bridal bouquet, you can actually get more for this than perhaps the bridesmaids. Nowadays they're having like 6 bridesmaids, aren't they? So you might go down on that, but here you could get 80 to 120, yeah, for a bouquet, yeah, because it's like the bride, she spends loads on her dress, doesn't she? Yeah. So, you know, to make this sort of special, and you know, perhaps even in the real world, you have to make sure that you get the right size roses. So you might be picking different shapes out. So you get, you know, some you might reject. Yeah, so you've all got to think of all that as cost. But it's usually that it's a bit inflated because you can get actually more for it. Yeah. You might want to use
what
some.
design are we making with Louise tomorrow?
You met the form linear.
Is that
Yeah.
what our colour lilies are for?
Yeah. But you might want to use a few of those. It's up to you because you don't usually use that many, do you? Yeah, so you could put a few in, because again, calla lilies are really popular with the weddings, aren't they? And I've just support wired my tulip because it's like a soft stem. It's easier to put a wire up the stem. So again, I'm just scattering them. So the only real flower that I put in a line is my first rose. I think I might put a couple of colours in. You won't use all those tomorrow, will you? Right, taking shape, yeah. Oops. Let's just perhaps have a few at the bottom. So you can sort of measure it. And a mounting wire. So I'm going to put that through and up. Hopefully I can see where it's coming out there. Thank you. So perhaps I'll put 3 of these more towards the bottom. So work this that you're actually sort of facing it as you would as the bride would be seen. All right, sort of further down to make sure that the focal you're looking at it really. I'm support wiring Mount worrying me because of the soft stem. So that the colours, the bridesmaids could perhaps have little tied colours with roses, couldn't they, to match?
Yeah, it's about 120.
I think about 120.
Yeah, 30 people off.
Alright, so I will finish this while you're starting, but do you alright, do you get the gist of that? So now I'm just going to sort of place in between, and then I'm going to put some foliages. I've got leather leaf as well. Alright, and I'll show you it when I'm finished, but if you want to get started.